Well then, shall we?
Hello and welcome back to yet another episode of the Lore Story, where we cover characters from the biggest games. I'm Jonathan Kreitch, and we're once again back with Elden Ring, looking into the story of Lunar Princess Ranni. Before we begin, there will be spoilers for the story of the game, along with the path to a specific ending. Keeping with the other videos this semester, we'll be wrapping up the children of Lord Radagon and Lady Rennala. Having covered both Star Scourge Radagon and Praetor Rykard, we come to Lunar Princess Ranni, the only daughter to come from that marriage. Now looking in-game, it would appear that she doesn't possess the signature red hair of the line of Radagon, but rather cold blue hair. Upon closer inspection, however, it is revealed that the Ranni we see in-game has no body, but inhabits a doll shaped like one. This is because of an event that we'll cover later in this video. Ranni's early life was much the same as her siblings, raised by both Lord Radagon and Lady Rennala. There's a difference with her relationship with her mother, as she is her only daughter. Through some events, Rennala would go on to lead Ranni to discover her own moon, as stated in the description of Ranni's Dark Moon, legendary sorcery associated with the Carrying Queen. The moon was encountered by a young Ranni, led by the hand of her mother Rennala. What she beheld was cold, dark, and veiled in occult mystery. As Ranni grew older, she would gain a shadow in the form of Blade, given to her by the two fingers to be her vassal, a being bound to her soul to aid her in becoming a successor to the current god of the lands between, Queen Marika the Eternal. Ranni would also encounter an old witch deep in the woods, who would become a mentor to her, teaching her the ways of cold sorceries. When Lord Radagon left Lady Rennala and married Queen Marika, becoming Elden Lord, Ranni was raised to demigod status, along with the rest of her siblings. Here we come to the events that really helped to shape the lands between, into how they are in-game. Even though Ranni was destined to become Queen Marika's successor by the Greater Will, she refused, and sought a way to evade this destiny in favor of one of her choosing. This would culminate in the Night of the Black Knives, an event long in the makings, planned thoroughly by Ranni with the help of Praetor Rykard. Ranni would steal a fragment of the Rune of Death, and imbue the blades of assassins with it, that they may have the power to kill a demigod. She also gave Rykard a slab of stone imbued with the fragment, allowing him to challenge Malekith, the Black Blade, if needed. And so it happened. On that night, assassins would carve the curse mark of death into Gawain the Golden, while Ranni carved the other half into herself, killing Gawain in spirit, but not flesh, and Ranni in flesh, but not spirit. Ranni's body can be found where she left it, laying on top of the divine tower of Liurnia, while her soul was transferred into a doll made in the image of her mentor. This event was the spark needed to ignite the Shattering, driving Queen Marika to shatter the Elden Ring, and the demigods to war over the pieces. It would seem that Ranni would also claim a great rune, but cast it aside in favor of following her desired path. This is said in a small excerpt from Sir Gideon Ofnir.
Ranni is said to have cast aside her great rune, so here at the Hold, we seek the whereabouts of the remaining 3 shard bearers.
This brings us to the events of the game, where depending on the ending the player seeks out, Ranni can play a large role in fulfilling it. If the player wants Ranni's Age of Stars ending, they need to follow her questline to completion. Beginning after obtaining the spectral steed ring from Melina, Ranni wishes to give the player a spirit calling bell, explaining that it was trusted to her to give to the spectral steed's next owner. Ranni bids the player farewell, doubting that they will ever meet again. If the player goes to Caria Manor, they can find Ranni atop of her tower, where she offers a quest to the player. Should they accept, they'll be tasked with finding a way into the eternal city of Nokron and retrieving the weapon within. The player will find the Finger Slayer Blade, a gruesome weapon capable of killing the 2 fingers sent by the Greater Will. Its description reads as follows. The hidden treasure of the eternal city of Nokron, a blade said to have been born of a corpse. This blood-drenched fetish is proof of the high treason committed by the eternal city and symbolizes its downfall. It cannot be wielded by those without a fate, but is said to be able to harm the Greater Will and its vassals. Returning the weapon to Ranni, she gives the player the Carrion inverted statue, which allows them to access the top of the Liurnia Divine Tower, where Ranni's true body lies. Ranni then departs for Nokstella, another one of the eternal cities underground. Arriving at Ainsel River, Maine, Along the path to Noxella, the player can find a miniature Ranni, who, after some choice words for the Tarnished, tasks the player with ridding her of the shadows the Greater Will sent to stop her.
A dogged fellow, aren't we? Or is it merely thy habit to talk to dolls? Fine. Fine. I hadn't expected any soul to recognize me in this guise. But now the cat is out the bag. I cannot allow thee thy freedoms. Perform for me a service as recompense. Eliminate the baleful shadows which prowl these lands.
Doing this for her earns the player the discarded palace key, which unlocks the chest located in the room with Ranni after her boss fight. Inside this chest is found the Dark Moon Ring, a ring made for Ranni's future consort when the time comes. After obtaining the ring, the player can face Estelle, natural born of the Void. Defeating him grants the player access to the Moonlight Altar, and ultimately the Cathedral of Manus Celeste, where the player marries Ranni and unlocks her ending. Ranni also gifts the player the Dark Moon Greatsword, which is destined to be given to her consort. An interesting pattern in games by From Software is the inclusion of the Moonlight Greatsword in almost all of their games in some capacity. Every game since King's Field has had one, with the exception of Sekiro, as I don't think it fits well with either the gameplay or the setting. When the player ends the game, they get the option to summon Ranni to repair America in their stead, making her the new god of the lands between, but without the influence of the Greater Will. And with the end of the game, so too does our story end. What did you think of Lunar Princess Ranni? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And while you're down there, why not check out our Instagram at CTV Goofing Off. As always, my name is Jonathan Kreitch, and thank you for tuning into the Lore Story.